We are back from TravCon 2022, and I've got a list of recaps. And then right alongside me, he was there with us the whole time, former traveler, current recruiter, Brad McDonald is going to be with me just to talk through kind of how it went, what went well, what we could do better next year, and then look ahead to next year. Atlas All Access starts now. All right. Well, first off, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
Is this the first time you've been on this format on this show?
We did one thing earlier. Dolan and I were talking about the trip where me and a bunch of friends went to Cancun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we will get into that here at the end.
Good.
Here, so because that was a conversation that I had while we were there. But let's kind of get into the recap of TravCon. So, I didn't know what to expect from this year, quite honestly, because last year was so weird. It was kind of muted last year because of the pandemic and everything else, trying to come out of it, wearing masks and everything. It just wasn't the same.
I'm sure.
And this year felt the same, but in an overwhelming kind of way. You've been there before, yes?
No, actually, this is my first time, so I don't really have a comparison. Wow. I just know what I saw this time, and I thought it was great.
I've got some fun questions from a traveler, from
Sure.
a nurse perspective. I've got some fun questions coming up, but let's recap what we did here real quick. So, most attended TravCon of all time. The booth was great. We had the pool party theme. We ended up having a pool party on Friday just because there was a happy accident in some of the scheduling, and we found out there was like 60 to 80 people that wanted to come out to a pool party that didn't have anything else to do on Friday, and they showed up. It was great.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and it was really relaxed, and it was just once we all got there, it was a good first thing to do. Then Saturday, help me on Saturday. We had the bus tour, we had breakfast, breakfast in the morning, obviously.
Well, and then they had the hike and the golf outing in the morning, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. And then a handful of us had gone to a mob museum and hung out there, then went down to Fremont Street for a while and gambled, which was a lot of fun. And then came back, and that was the first night with Med Travel Hub.
Yes.
For the buses. You were on that.
Oh, that was such a good time. I think it was a great event. So Med Travel Hub, I met, we were talking about the Cancun trip, kind of set that whole thing up because my friend Sarah, who set up that trip, is working with Jonathan at Med Travel Hub. And so we paired together, and they co-sponsored the event, and I think everyone had a really good time. I think there was something to be said about, I've been to Vegas a couple of times, but when you're driving in an elevated form on top of the strip and the views that you get to see there, that was something else.
It's a completely different experience. So I went on Sunday night, completely different experience than when you're just walking because you see so much more.
Yeah.
It is Las Vegas is visually stunning.
It is.
And going up and down the strip, going all the way down to Fremont Street, turning around, coming back. There were things I'd never seen before.
Oh, ever. Same. Yeah. I've been, like I said, been a few times, but that was the coolest view I've ever had of Vegas overall, for sure.
If I had to go back and say, okay, outside of breakfast, because breakfast is always kind of my favorite anyway. What was the most fun thing that we did? And it probably would have been those buses.
That's what I said too. Dolan and I were talking earlier about it, and he was asking what my favorite thing was, and I really think the bus was probably one of the best. I mean, great turnout both nights.
Yep.
And I think everyone had a good time. I think the only lesson we might have learned is more seltzers, less beer.
Which, okay.
Yeah, everyone likes seltzers now.
I would have said more beers, but, that's just me.
Yeah. We found out that ratio was off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Both breakfast, Saturday and Sunday, over 200 travelers at each breakfast. That was awesome. We packed that place, and they're so great to us every year. They look forward to us coming every year, and it's just fun to be able to sit down and talk, and it's not a typical Las Vegas kind of event. It's more relaxed, and that's kind of more our style. Really.
Well, yeah, and it was a good time. I had several of my nurses come along, and they would come. We'd sit at the table. I'd go sit at another table, talk to other people. It was a great way to start the day with coffee instead of alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, even though it was early, you'd be surprised the number of people that show up.
Oh, 100%. Everyone, they need the get a little something in their belly after the night before.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All right, so let's get into your experience a little bit. So this being your first TravCon, you were an ER nurse for how many years?
So I was an ER nurse for 6 years. I traveled for 4.5 of the 6 years, all with Atlas, before I did this. I always wanted to come. I actually initially signed up as a nurse long ago, right when you could buy tickets, and then I ended up taking this position. So my first time, I got to be on the other side of the fence, but I still spent a lot of time with my friends that I met over the years, nurses I'm working with, stuff like that, and really kind of got to see both sides of it and got a lot of input from everyone too.
I think where you really shined was in the booth, and we hadn't really talked about that yet. But being able to connect with just the steady stream all for those 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, was just a steady stream all day long. Not only because we're giving out swag and backpacks and stuff. Travelers come for that or whatever, but then also to meet us, right? And to see us and talk and that type of thing. I think, talk about that experience a little bit, being able to work through that rather than just the everyday grind of being a recruiter, but doing it in person there.
It was really neat because there's actually even some people from that group. It's a really big group that we kind of started this past year that has just grown ever since with multiple trips we've gone on. And there's been several people that's in this message group that I actually hadn't met yet. And so I got to meet all of them when I was there. And like you said, it's just a cool experience face to face, actually have conversations with people, see what they like, and get their input. I'm like, what do you like about what we're doing? What should we do next? And so, what do you like for a recruiter? How do you want to be approached and things like that? We kept it. I feel like we did a good job of just keeping it casual.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, they're doing the badge scanning and stuff like that. And we're just like, you know who we are, meet us. You'll come to us if you want to talk to us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've always kind of been like that before. You could always just buy the little scanner, scan the badge or whatever. And we had fun with the pretend scanner this year. That was
like an eraser and a marker.
And whatever. That was a lot of fun. So, and I think that most of them enjoyed the humor that came with that.
For sure, to know that we're, I think that's kind of our vibe. Like you were saying, is we're we're serious, but we're not that serious.
Yeah.
We want to be the fun company. We want to be about travel more than just jobs. We want to be about promoting people traveling and seeing the world.
Exactly. Okay, so put yourself back in your traveler shoes, right? In your nurse shoes. Going to a conference like that, let's say you've never been there before, right? Or one of you have never been there before. What do you think would be the best piece that you would get out of that? Going as a traveler.
I would say meeting the community. Because I know a lot of people within my group that just met random people, and then they're like, oh, come join us. And it made our group even bigger, you just go to these events, you just start talking to people and just be open. It's the same thing I tell my nurses when they're on assignment. It's like, chances are you're not going to know anyone there. Yeah. Just start talking to people, especially the other travel nurses.
Yeah.
Because they've got a similar mindset. So they're going to be really open to making a friendship in a matter of minutes.
Yep.
And some of those can last a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say. Number one is meet all the people you can, talk to people, go to events. Don't sit in your hotel room the whole time. Go to as many things as you possibly can.
Yep. And there were a ton of other companies there that had events going on, right?
Yeah.
When we did, when we didn't, that type of thing. Get to all of them.
Yeah.
Go experience all of that.
Exactly. Everyone, we can't possibly do every single thing at Vegas.
No.
So it's nice that there are so many companies. So go try this one, see what you like. And like I was talking to Dolan about earlier, I think a good resource now is post TravCon, talking to our community and be like, what did you like best? For everyone, not just us, so we can add it to our repertoire for future TravCons.
That was actually my last point through this is what could we do better next time? What else could we do? What worked? What didn't work? That type of thing. And I want the feedback, not only from the people that were there, but maybe people watching from the outside. Like, I'm surprised you didn't go do this instead, or or whatever.
Exactly. We want to know. We're all about them. This is what they want to do. Yep. So what did you like the best? And we'll try and do it.
Yeah.
I think that's the best approach, honestly.
Obviously, we go because it's a business trip for us, right? But we go to have fun.
Yeah.
Right? If we were there just all business or whatever, and I saw some pictures of some that were just all business, and I wondered, what was their return on that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we want to have fun just as much as you do. Let's go have fun.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. So
yeah, this is the time to build the relationship further than just the recruiter-recruitee.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's have an actual relationship. This is what I always promote with all my nurses too. I have always had a great relationship with my recruiter, and I always want to have the same with my nurses.
Yep.
And this gives you an opportunity to really get to know someone.
Which brings me to just my opinion. Now, this is just my opinion. When we were there, we had dinner with Jonathan Pierre of Med Travel Hub. So you go back with him a little bit. You talked about the Cancun trip a little bit. Talk about that relationship and how you two met and kind of where it kind of led to us having dinner while we were there.
Sure. So it's kind of a weird events that led up to that point. So initially, we talked about that Cancun trip I went on. So it was 27 travel nurses. I only knew one to start with. It was actually Ashley that won our golden ticket. Yep, at TravCon. So she gets to go to TravCon for free next year. See you there, Ashley. And so she invited me into this group. And Sarah Affman is the one that kind of organized that whole initial trip. And so through her, after she did that, I'm not exactly sure how she got linked up with Jonathan. I think she wanted to go on trips, and he offered this service for traveling professionals to go on these trips across the world. And so he found out that she did this great trip in Cancun, and he's like, well, you know, I have an opportunity for you here. And he actually talked to Sarah about Atlas because he knows we do our Atlas adventure where we promote traveling on your first assignment. We send you somewhere fun.
Yep.
That was the first time I went to Vegas. I actually was Atlas paid for that. That was my Atlas adventure.
Very nice.
And so once he heard about that Sarah knew someone at Atlas, she immediately reached out to me. He's like, oh my God, you got to meet Jonathan. I'm going to put you guys in touch. Do you think this is something Atlas would be interested in?
Yep.
I said, absolutely. So we kind of got the ball rolling. I talked to Dolan. I then talked to you. And then we kind of got everyone together. And then we talked, why don't we do something together at TravCon? You're going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Right.
He was doing speeches already. So we're like, let's do something together. And I think it was a beautiful relationship we built there.
It was fantastic. And the meal was great, too, by the way.
Oh, my gosh.
The
best
Brussels
steak I've
sprouts.
had. Oh, my God,
The
right?
Brussels sprouts.
Those are some of the best Brussels sprouts I've ever had.
Holy smokes. But yeah, so Med Travel Hub and Jonathan, he organizes trips all across the world, right?
Yeah.
For healthcare professionals.
Yep.
In particular.
Yeah.
He started off with, how many did he say? Like 4 that first? Well, there was 1, then there was 4.
Yeah, how many per year?
How many per year?
I feel like he got it was up to 7, and I think they said something like 12 for this next year, something like that. It keeps growing exponentially.
It keeps growing.
Yeah,
yeah. So we talked through kind of what his vision was, how it ties back to the Atlas adventure, and and what we try to do here, and we don't have the resources necessarily to do something like that, but we do have the resources to put money towards a trip like that for one of our travelers. For something like this, and I have, like I said, and I went and I sat with my wife afterwards, and we ate dinner. We ate another meal after that, which was it was awesome. It was completely different, but I have a pretty high bullshit meter, and so does she. Like, she's my litmus test. Like, okay, if I'm here, she's gonna be here, and I talked through everything, and her answer at the end was, yeah, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Why aren't you involved with him? And so it seems like a match that is made naturally, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. Like, we don't want to just be the company that gets you jobs. We want to promote you to travel, and why not have a marriage with the company that exactly does that?
That does that.
Exactly. That, the thing is, a lot of time with Atlas Adventure, I'm finding this working with my nurses. They're like, I don't know what I want to do. This, you give people options. A lot of times they're like, yeah, I'm in. Cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so something like this, again, networking, you're going to meet people from all over. And then, again, friends for life. You travel somewhere across the world with someone, usually you build a pretty good friendship with them. It's a unique experience.
Once you sleep in an airport.
Yeah, exactly. When you're sleeping in a
connected.
Hostel, when someone's right below you, and you can hear their snoring, you get real close.
You're connected in a different way, that's for sure. Okay, so what's my opinion there? I think this is something that we're going to definitely explore with him. He's got some work to do on his side. He's got a website that he needs to update, but there are vouchers available right now that we can purchase for our travelers as that Atlas adventure wouldn't pay for the whole trip, but it would pay for a chunk of it. So there'll be more information on that to come, and kind of how that relationship expands and grows as time goes on.
Oh, I'm excited to see it grow too. I think, like you said before, perfect match for us.
Yeah. All right, I got one last question for you at the end here.
All right.
If you could do one thing different for TravCon 2023, I'm already thinking about next year.
Oh, so am I.
Right?
Yeah.
What would you do different?
Well, for me, again, I booked mine in way advance, so I was actually a day later than everyone else. So one, get there when everyone else does.
Get there on
'cause
Friday.
I missed the pool party.
Get there on Friday.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's one thing for everyone. Get there on Friday.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff. For me, specifically, what I would do differently, I don't know. Like, I feel like I grabbed it by the horns and did literally everything I could. This might sound bad, but like maybe be a little more business than I was because I was less. Because by that I mean, like, I met so many cool people, but like I didn't want to be the type of like, oh, they just think I'm a recruiter, I'm trying to get their phone number and stuff like that.
You should call me. Here's my phone number.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And so I didn't do any of that. But unfortunately, because of that, I lost contact with some people that I could have probably, showed them what Atlas is all about. Because I mean, as someone, like, I'm not going to sell anything that I didn't buy for 4.5 years myself. Right. I really believe in this company. So that maybe do a little bit more on that side, I would say. I don't know. That would be my only regret probably the whole time, is I wasn't enough of that, because I did that on purpose. But then I'm like, maybe just a little. One thing I really enjoyed what we did versus everyone else, a lot of the other booths seemed like it was a PowerPoint presentation put on a background.
Yep.
Polos, whatever.
Yep.
We had bro tanks on, we had a pool party. So I was thinking next year maybe just spitballing here, but have like a tailgate theme to it. Because everybody loves tailgating.
Everybody loves tailgates.
And then you can have fun games, stuff like that. Because I want to keep up the theme of us being the fun people, you know? We can't take this too seriously. Their jobs are serious enough. Yeah. So this is the time to let loose. So this is why we got to keep it fun.
When that placement happens and it's compliance time, that's when we get serious.
Yes.
Right? Up to that point, let's have fun. Let's do fun. This. Let's take advantage of everything that there is to offer if you choose the travel healthcare lifestyle. Right?
Exactly.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. I've got all kinds of ideas.
I know. There's so many things we could go, but that one just kind of stuck out to me.
There we go. So, all right, Brad, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
I am glad that I loved it when you were on that side of the desk for us. I love it you're on this side of the desk for us now.
I love it too, Rich. It's a different experience. I always like new challenges, and this has definitely been a challenge, but it's a very enjoyable one.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you being here with us and going to Vegas with us. So.
Oh yeah, such a hard thing to say no to.
Yeah. Oh, please, no. I don't want to go have fun. If you have any ideas of what you might want to see next year, please message me on Facebook. You know how to find me. Message me on Facebook. Get me on LinkedIn. You can email me, rsmith@atlasmedstaff.com. We'll put it in right here. Just send it to me. Or if you're looking for a recruiter that really understands what it's like to be a nurse, a travel nurse in particular, right here.
Also got my own Facebook page, super happy fun time recruiter man Brad McDonald. So you could go ahead and check that out too.
This log.
Yeah.
Does it even fit at the bottom of the
barely
screen here?
That was the whole point. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We will see you next week. We'll see you at TravCon 2023.
See you next year, guys.